What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode here at the Game Nights. You have Titan here coming at you guys with another hot deck profile for today. So, quick little announcement though before I get into today's video. We are introducing to you guys our new tier system. So this will bring a little bit of our Game Nights flavor to each and every one of you. So we recently did our first podcast video. If you haven't checked that out, definitely go check it out. We discussed a lot of great topics. It will be kind of like a monthly thing that we do. So we will be doing podcasts at least once a month, maybe even more depending on how much you guys like it. But anyways, since we started our quest, you guys as our viewers are our questlings. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, you will move up a tier and you will become one of our squires or sub-squires, if you will. So it was a little name that we came up with. Actually, we think it's genius and we're going to just run with it. So yeah, guys, so that's just like my quick little announcement. We are going to incorporate this into our Patreon system once we get that going. And don't worry, guys, we will get that up and running soon. We are hoping to hit 100 subscribers before the end of the year. We really hope that we can get it done. And then we will definitely let you guys know when you guys can start supporting us if you would like to. But yeah, anyways, without any further ado, let's get right on into this Adamancipator deck profile. I hope that you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, guys, make sure that you hit that notification bell and follow us on Facebook so that you're always notified on what your favorite nights are doing. So let's get right on into it. So to start things off, you want to be playing 3 copies of Adamancipator Researcher. So she is the best one by far. Out of the 3 Adamancipator tuners that you play. Basically what she does is that Researcher can be special summoned when you control any face-up rock monster on the field. So very, very easy to special her out. And then, of course, the one effect that all of the Adamancipator tuners share is they get to excavate the top 5 cards of your main deck, and then you get to special summon 1 level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monster among them. So like I said, all of them share the same ability. You definitely want to be playing no less than 3 Researcher. You definitely want to be playing all 3 copies of Seeker. Like I said, does the same thing as Researcher. The only thing that Seeker does differently is Seeker can be special summoned when you control a face-up Adamancipator monster on the field. So it can't be just any rock. It does have to be an Adamancipator, but not very difficult to do. And then, of course, to round off for the tuners, we have the Adamancipator Analyzer. So this is the level 4. So he's a little bit better going second. He is still integral to, obviously, your combo that you want to do throughout your turn. But Analyzer, the way that he is special summoned is if your opponent controls a monster and you do not, then you can special summon the Analyzer from your hand. Like I said, it's just really good going second, but you still play no less than 3. So that is it for all of the main deck Adamancipator monsters in the deck. Next, you're going to be playing just a bunch of support rock monsters. So the first one being Doki Doki, and I play 3 copies of him. So Doki Doki is really, really good. Personally, in my opinion, he's one of the best play starters, also play extenders as well. So essentially what Doki Doki does is that you can, when he's on the field, you can discard 1 rock monster and special summon from your deck 1 rock monster that has the same original attribute and level as the monster that you had sent. So that makes summoning your other level 4s very, very easy. There is a really nice interaction that I use with Doki Doki and another card that's coming up here shortly, and I'll explain that when I get to it. So definitely play no less than 3 Doki Doki in my opinion. Then we play 3 copies of the Quakimeru Supplier. So this card is fantastic, guys. This is one of the newer cards that came out in Rise of the Duelist. So essentially with the Supplier, when there is a face-up rock monster that you control that's sent to the graveyard, you can automatically just go ahead and special summon the Supplier. So it's a really super easy special summon. And then it does also have an effect that when it is special summoned, you can go ahead and search another Quakimeru card. So of course with the Supplier, I do play 2 copies of Guardian. You could bump this up to 3 if you want. That's more than acceptable. But yeah, typically, so you could search this card with the Supplier, but typically you are going to want to keep your all your rock monsters in the deck so that when you use your Tuner's Excavates, you do have the non-tuner targets to be able to special. So yeah, so I play the 2 Guardian. And then also a new card that I recently put into the deck and have been testing and have been absolutely loving is 2 copies of Block Golem. So this card is actually really good, guys. This is one of the cards that actually really helps you actually extend into the calamities. So basically this card, if there are no other monsters in your graveyard other than earth monsters, you can go ahead and tribute the Block Golem, and then you can go ahead and target 2 level 4 or lower rock type monsters in your graveyard, except for himself, of course. So if once you tribute him, you can't just like have him as one of the targets. Doesn't work that way. You can go ahead and special summon those 2 rock monsters. So it just gives you a bunch more extension, just putting 2 more bodies on the field to be able to go into your link plays and your synchro plays. So Block Golem is actually really, really good. I definitely advise you guys to test it out. Then next, I play 2 copies of Go 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 Gygus. This is the only card that I play that has to do with the whole Go 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 Do 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 package. I don't feel as if the other ones are that necessary. One little nice thing that I like to do with Gygus is if I happen to have Doki Doki and I opened with Gygus, I can go ahead and pitch the first Gygus. And to special summon the second Gygus, and because then the second Gygus was special summoned, I can go ahead and special the first Gygus from the graveyard, as its effect is when there is a Go 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 monster that is special summoned while this is in the graveyard, you can go ahead and special it. So it's a real easy rank 4, typically do that to just really nicely go into my Gala Granite, which you will see in the extra deck. So yeah, so I think playing the 2 of this is more than fine. Then next, I play 1 copy of Gigantis. This card is still really, really good. Just another extender, just being able to banish one of your earth monsters just to put this guy on the board. Still really handy. And then another nice extender is the Weeping Idol. This one, again, really easy to special. All you have to do is you can remove 1 tuner monster from your graveyard, and you can go ahead and special summon this card from your hand. So just a nice another little extender. So that's it for all of the support rock monsters that we have in the deck. Next, I'm going to go off into the hand trap lineup that I play. So I do play the best hand trap in the game right now, which is your Gamma package. So of course, you're going to be playing your 3 Psy-Frame Gear Gamma, and then of course, to pair with the Gamma, you have your Driver. Don't really need to explain too much on that. It's just the best hand trap, negates and destroys. You know, being able to negate an effect and also removing the body off of the field so that your opponent can't use it for their link plays or synchros or XYZs, whatever they're doing, is really, really good. And then, of course, one of the most generic hand traps in the game, we have our Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I only play 2. My reasoning for this is that sometimes having more than this can be a little bit bricky. You don't always want to open up a bunch of hand traps, especially if you're going first. You definitely want to see more of your combo pieces, your supporting rock monsters, and your tuners. You definitely want to see your tuners in your hand more often than not, just to be able to get your plays going. So yeah, 2 Ash I think is more than fine. And then for the last hand trap, and the only traps that I play is, of course, 3 copies of the Infinite Impermanence. Don't really need to explain this. Every deck is going to be playing at least 2 to 3 of this card. So yeah, don't really need to say much else on that. And then for the last monster that I play in the deck is, of course, my Plague Spreader Zombie. This is going to be the card that you're going to summon off of your Christian Halki Fibrax. I would say about 99% of the time. Of course, you could summon any of your other tuners, but this is normally the one you're going to be summoning. All right, so that's it for the monsters, guys. Before I get into the spells, I just want to give a quick reminder to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really hope that you guys are enjoying the deck profile so far. Let me know what you think of the deck profile in the comment section. We would love to hear your feedback. And yeah, guys, also make sure that you follow us on Facebook. So with that being said, let me continue off into the spells. So I do play 1 copy of Signs and 1 copy of Monster Reborn. So these are just like my Monster Reborn cards of the deck. You could play more Signs if you want. You know, you could just bump Signs up to 2 or 3. You know, take out Monster Reborn entirely if you want. It's completely up to you on what kind of ratio you want to play on this. I just found this to work just fine for me. You don't really need that many Monster Reborns. Just having these 2 is more than fine. And then I do play 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. So you are a combo deck. This card is really, really good in a lot of combo decks. Pretty much in any deck, this card is just
is just insane. Just being either, you know, a Pot of Greed or a Forceful Sentry or a Change of Heart is just too good not to pass up. So yeah, I would definitely play 2. I don't think you need to play 3. Again, you don't really want to be bricking on these cards, especially if you can't get them to resolve, because you do have to have your opponent, you know, activate a monster effect during your turn. So if you get hand trapped, other than impermanence, I guess, then yeah, you can go ahead and resolve this. But yeah, I think the 2 is more than fine. You don't need 3. Then I do play 2 copies of Dark Ruler No More. So this is in here just because I do, you of course don't always win the die roll. One thing that I've noticed in the meta, especially nowadays, is that because the meta is so die roll based, you know, sometimes you can't really build your deck completely on going first and relying on that die roll, because there are going to be times when of course you're going to have to go second. And if you don't have the cards to kind of combat what your opponent puts up, you're not really going to be able to play your deck anyways. So I've been trying to fit in as many like going second stuff as possible to find like a nice balance of going first and second. This is kind of why I went with the Dark Rulers, just so that I can kind of, you know, actually play the game if I go up against a combo deck that's just going to put up, you know, a bunch of negates. Then next, my spicy little tech for the deck is I actually play 2 copies of Hand Destruction. So this one's a bit funky, guys, but just hear me out. This deck sometimes really just like doesn't open all that well, or you just don't open like enough of the things that you really want. So sometimes this Hand Destruction is actually not bad. It does also make your opponent send 2 cards to the graveyard, which depending on the matchup can be, you know, really, you know, it can be detrimental for them. It does also like allow them to draw deeper into the deck too. So keep that in mind. You really have to, you know, test this card and just kind of see, you know, if this is something that you can work with. I have been testing it and I actually like it. It's really helped me get into certain cards to just kind of help my board state. So if you know, if I have just maybe a little bit of a weaker board state, I can use the Hand Destruction to maybe get into things like my impermanences, or my ashes, or just some other things to just kind of help me deal with what my opponent tries to do, you know, attempting to break my board. So this card, so like I said, this card is a bit funky. Like I said, I've been testing it. I saw it in, I think, one other deck profile, and I actually have been enjoying it. So definitely experiment with this one as well, guys. So I would go with 2, but no more than 2. That's for sure. Then, for the last 2 cards that I play 1 copy of the Harpy's Feather Duster. This is pretty self-explanatory. This really helps for back row decks, Eldritch being one of the top decks in the meta. So you definitely want to be playing one of this. And then I do play 1 Pot of Avarice. So this card essentially just allowing me to make sure that I have some follow-up plays. I can recycle some of my extra deck and some of my main deck if I go through my entire deck, you know, just making my combo first turn. So yeah, guys, so that's it for all of the main decks. So let's go off into the extra deck real quick. So for the first couple of cards here, I'll show you them together just because they are the most, you know, I guess synonymous link monsters right now in the game. I've said this before in a previous video. These 2 are just like the most busted link monsters in the game right now. Wouldn't be surprised if these cards end up getting banned here in the near future. But yeah, the Halki Fibrax and the Link Cross, pretty self-explanatory. Another Link 2 that I play is I play 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus. The reason why I play this one is because this is an Earth, of course, just to kind of help with block Golem. So if this guy's in your, you know, say he happens to be in your graveyard, then, you know, you're still safe to be able to activate that card. And also, as well, there are going to be times when Cerberus comes in handy. A lot of the times, you know, pretty much all the main monsters that you're going to want to deal with are going to be in the main monster zones. This card got a lot better once Master Rule 5 came around. So yeah, so I would play Cerberus. You could play Phoenix instead if you want, but I opted with Cerberus, and I thought it was fine. Then for my Link 4s, I play 1 copy of Apollosa, the Bow of the Goddess. This card is still really, really good in this deck. Just being able to put up 3 to 4 negates on top of everything else that you can make. And then I do play the Access Code Talker. This is the one that you're going to want to go into going second. So like I said before, I wanted to balance the deck between going first and second. This is the way that I'm doing it. Apollosa is going to be the one you're going to want to go into going first, and then Access Code Talker is the one that you're going to want to use more going second. All right, so that's it for the Link monsters. Now let's go off into the Synchros real quick. I play 1 copy of Martial Metal Marcher. This one should be pretty self-explanatory. just being able to special back one of your tuners just to keep extending. And then some new additions into the deck. I have one copy of the Stardust Charge Warrior. So this card, what he does is when you make him, you can go ahead and draw one card. So just digs you another card deeper into your deck. And he is a level 6. That is important. Then we play the Adamancipator Risen Raptite. And then I also play the one Adamancipator Risen Dragite. So these are the two Adamancipator extra deck monsters that I play. I still play the Dragite. I think the Dragite is still really, really good. The Hulk is a water monster, so if you do happen to have the Hulk in the grave, you can go ahead and just like use that to be able to resolve its negate for the spells and traps. And of course, just its first ability, to excavate the top 5 and then to send that many like however many rock monsters you excavated, and sending that many back from your opponent's field back to their hand is still such a really good effect. There's just no way that I can just pass that up. I think it's a really good card effect, especially going second, of course, and I think he looks really, really good. So I definitely still play the Dragite. And then of course Raptite, just being able to have its excavate and then special one rock monster that you excavated. Nice thing is it can be one of the tuners, so that's why I like Raptite. Then next, I'm going to be playing one copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, the mascot, of course. So this card, you can easily make it. If you don't want to go for the Dragite, you just make the Savage Dragon, and most likely you're going to be probably equipping the Hulk to it. So that, definitely play the Savage. Then for the new stuff that got incorporated into the deck as the decks kind of evolved, we're playing some level 9 synchro. So the level 9s that I play is Trish, the Croco Dragon, and Cloud Castle. So these are the things that you're going to be making to ultimately end up with your True King of all Calamities. So Cloud Castle really helps facilitate that, just being able to be made and then specialing any of your other level 9s that you made, and then going into Calamities. It just allows you to use one of your level 9s as like link material. Say if you want to, go into your Appaloosa, you can use any of these level 9s to go into the Appaloosa. Then if you can make Cloud Castle, make the Cloud Castle, bring back one of these, and then you can overlay them to go into your Calamities. So Calamities is one of the most problematic cards in today's meta right now. Would not be surprised if this card ends up going, or even Cloud Castle, because Cloud Castle is also facilitating a lot of these decks to make this card fairly easily. And also Virtual Worlds are a thing. So, but this thing is just too good not to play. I incorporated this into the deck and it's really helped, just being able to kind of, really shut down your opponent. And then for the last one that I play the one copy of Gallic Granite. This one's pretty self-explanatory, just being able to search any one of your rock monsters. So you can go ahead and search most likely your tuners most of the time. But yeah, guys, that is it for the deck. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. And yeah, guys, let us know in the comments what you thought of the profile. But until next time, peace.